Hi, Mara, this is Dad. And as you can tell, this is about this can that we're sending you. I tried to clean it up a little bit, and it just won't clean up very well, so I'm not doing it. It would take a lot of work. Mom and I were thinking that this was going to be either probably copper, but it's not. It's a steel. And so it's just this light rust all around it, around the whole thing. I did wipe it down with a rag to get some of the dirt off of it. Then I put a light coat of oil just on this top section. So yeah, this is when it's dirty. The top looks a little bit better now, but the interesting thing though is the bottom of it right here. The bottom is copper. Now the reason they did that, there's this little lip right here that they put a copper bottom on, and I think it's welded on. Uh, but the reason they did that is to prevent it from rusting out. Copper is not going to rust. You can see how it's really rusty right here, but this copper is black, tarnished. And I tried to put some copper Brasso cleaner on it right here. I did 2 coats on it, and it will come off, but it's really slow to come off. I'm tempted. I was tempted to maybe sand it to see what sanding might do to it, but it's got an old look to it. So that's what I just wanted to show you that. So I'm shipping this to you as is, out without being cleaned up. Now you can see over here that is the light that we're going to send you. I'm going to talk to you about that next. Um, so here's the light. This is kerosene or this is a wick. This is how this thing lights up. It's pretty cool. This little knob right down here will make this wick go up and down, and it still does work. And in order to get this stuff in it, you got to take it apart a little bit. I'll show you how that gets done. It really just does twist off. So I've twisted it off. It just takes about a half a turn, and it twists off. And these are the two deals right here that actually hold it into the bottom here. You put these slots through a couple of slots here, and you give it a turn, and it goes in place. One of the key things is though, this arm right here that moves the wick up and down does have a slot here for it to go up into it. I don't quite see it, but I'll try to show it to you. It could be this thing right here. This could be the slot that it goes up onto, and it still turns. Um, but then this top here, this silver top, actually does a half turn to come off the bottom to put some fluid into it. It's quite dirty, even on the inside. It's quite dirty. It probably have to be cleaned up a little bit. I think the wick I didn't touch too much is really delicate and old. It's probably 100 years old, um, but it still is in there. It goes up and down. Now the one in the other lamp, I don't see the wick, and I didn't take this off to see whether the wick is down there or not. But this assembly is there, and there's just no wick. I wouldn't be surprised if it got turned down and it's down inside there. So here you can see, okay, I took the wick off. Should really rotate this. Okay, yeah, I took it off. You can see how old this wick is. But this mechanism here with this turner still does work. You can see the little grooves here that it goes into, because there's a little nub right there, and there's a little nub right there. Same as these right here that make it go into the top section. So this is where you pour some oil in it or whatever it would go in there, and it would wick up, and it would make a nice, cool lantern. It will be cool. But I did try to clean this up, and this looks like it's brass, but man, I still couldn't clean this up very well either, even with some Brasso. It just is. It just had a tough time. I do have a picture of it. I think no, this just shows the two grooves that it goes into when you put it back together, and there's that groove that puts it back together. And this is the top section. Oh, here's the groove I talked about, that the stem that the turning rod goes into. And then here's a slot, and here's a slot that you turn it into and twist it to kind of lock it down. Yeah, this is me putting it back together, I think. Now this handle, you can see that this is how you mount it. And there's two holes here. So the idea is you'd mount this first on the wall or wherever you're going to do it, and then you'd slide it back in this thing and then tighten this nut down to put it into place. So you can see how this bracket would go on a wall, or bolt alternate wall first, because you couldn't do it while it's on there. That's why yeah, you got the idea. When I ship it, I'll probably take this bracket off just so it can ship a little easier. This nut will probably be all the way down into it. But I did notice that when I took these brackets off, and it was hard to get it through there, even with the nut all the way out. I couldn't quite get it through all the way. So I just think it needs a little bang here with a hammer, and I think it would go all the way. But it was a little tight. I don't know why, but I think that's it. Yeah, that's the last picture. So that's it. Talk to you later. Bye.